It is a great honor to be here today to share an inspiring message about unlocking God's power in our lives. This is not just about believing in something greater than ourselves, but about activating that divine power within us to transform our lives. Many of us desire to live a life filled with peace, prosperity, and purpose. But the key to achieving that lies within the understanding and use of God's power. Today, I want to share 5 key principles that will help you tap into that divine power, guiding you toward a life of miracles, breakthroughs, and ultimate transformation. To unlock God's power in your life, one of the most foundational steps is to begin with a shift in your mindset. Our thoughts shape our reality, and often we hold ourselves back not because of our circumstances, but because of the way we think about ourselves and the world around us. The mind is an incredibly powerful tool, but it can also be a source of limitation if not managed consciously. When we perceive ourselves as unworthy or incapable, we create internal resistance that blocks us from fully experiencing the divine power that God has placed within us. This mindset, rooted in fear and self-doubt, limits the flow of God's blessings. It makes us feel small, powerless, and disconnected from our higher purpose. But God's power in your life is not limited to your own understanding or your current circumstances. When you change the way you think, you change the way you see the world. And that has the potential to transform everything around you. God created you in His image, which means you have the inherent ability to do incredible things through His power. But to fully access that power, you need to shift your perspective. You must choose to believe that you are capable, that you are worthy, and that you have been given the tools to succeed. This is a spiritual and mental shift that opens the door for miracles to happen in your life. And when you align your thoughts with the truth of your divine nature, you become a vessel for God's work in the world. One of the most important aspects of this shift is letting go of the limiting beliefs that have been ingrained in you over the years. These are the thoughts like, I'm not good enough, I can't do it, or I don't deserve success. These beliefs can stem from past experiences, societal conditioning, or even things that were spoken over you by others. But none of these external sources define you or the potential you hold within. God's power works not through your limitations, but through your faith and your openness to His possibilities. As you begin to change the narrative in your mind, you open yourself up to God's transformative power. The more you focus on possibilities, on God's greatness, and on His love for you, the more His power will begin to manifest in your life. This shift in mindset is not something that happens overnight, but with consistent effort, prayer, and faith, you will start to see things in a new light. Challenges will no longer seem insurmountable. Instead, they will become opportunities for growth and breakthroughs. And slowly, the limitations that once held you back will begin to dissolve. Remember, your mindset is the gateway to God's power. When you begin to think from a place of possibility, faith, and gratitude, you create a fertile ground for divine blessings. Through this shift, you begin to recognize that God is not just a distant force, but an ever-present help who works through your thoughts, actions, and beliefs to manifest His will on earth. By changing your mind, you unlock the power to live a life filled with purpose, peace, and divine potential. The second key to unlocking God's power in your life is to embrace the power of belief. Belief is not just a passive mental exercise, it is an active force that shapes everything you experience. In fact, your beliefs are the lenses through which you view the world and interpret your circumstances. When it comes to God's power, belief is the bridge that connects you to the divine potential within you. The Bible tells us that faith can move mountains, and belief in God's ability to work in your life can truly transform the impossible into the possible. To truly unlock God's power, you must believe that He is not distant or indifferent, but actively involved in your life. Many people are caught in the trap of intellectual belief, acknowledging God's existence but never fully embracing the belief that He has the power to change their lives, heal their wounds, and provide for their needs. You can profess belief in God, but without truly embracing the depth of His power and His ability to intervene in your life, it remains just a distant concept. The key is to shift from believing in God as an abstract idea to believing that He is intimately connected with you, working through you, and moving in the details of your life. Belief in God's power isn't just about acknowledging that He can perform miracles. It's about trusting that God is not only able but also willing to do so in your life. You may have doubts or face difficult situations that challenge your faith, but in those moments it is important to remind yourself of God's promises and His faithfulness. True belief does not waver in the face of adversity. It strengthens and deepens. The more you trust that God will provide, the more you align yourself with His will and open the door to His transformative power. This kind of belief is not limited by the constraints of what we can see with our physical eyes. The power of belief is rooted in the unseen. Believing in God's promises even when circumstances seem to suggest otherwise. It is this deep, unwavering faith that activates God's supernatural ability to intervene in our lives. Think of it as a spiritual force field. When you believe, you begin to align yourself with God's plans for you, and you allow His energy to flow more freely through you. Belief also empowers us to take action. It isn't just a mental assent, but a way of being that manifests in the decisions we make and the way we live. When you believe in God's power, you begin to walk in confidence, knowing that He will provide for you, lead you, and guide you. That belief changes how you approach challenges, how you interact with others, and how you pursue your goals. Instead of seeing obstacles as insurmountable, you start seeing them as opportunities for God to show His strength. Additionally, belief involves an active practice of surrender. It means trusting in God's timing and His method even when you don't understand it. It is about letting go of the need to control every situation and trusting that God's wisdom is far greater than your own. It is the assurance that He knows what is best for you and that His plans for your life are filled with hope and purpose. It takes daily check-ins with God's plans for you and your life to make sure that His plans for your life are filled with hope and purpose. When you fully embrace this kind of belief, you are no longer confined by the limitations of your own understanding. You are tapping into the limitless power of God, who works through you in ways that you could never imagine on your own. In summary, belief is the key that opens the door to God's power in your life. It is not just about acknowledging God's existence, but truly trusting in His ability to work in every area of your life. When you embrace the full potential of belief, you unlock the floodgates of divine power, and you begin to see miracles unfold in ways that you once thought were impossible. True belief transcends doubt and fear, replacing them with confidence in God's promises. With this belief, you will begin to experience the transformative power of God in ways that will redefine your life. To unlock God's power in your life, aligning yourself with your true purpose is one of the most profound and transformative steps you can take. Each of us has been uniquely created with a specific purpose in mind, a divine calling that is part of God's greater plan for the world. Yet many of us spend years, even decades, searching for meaning, feeling lost or disconnected from that purpose. This sense of misalignment creates a deep inner friction, leaving us unsettled, unfulfilled, and at times uncertain of our path. But when you begin to align your life with the purpose God has designed for you, you open the door for His power to flow more freely in your life. Aligning with your true purpose means discovering who you truly are in God's eyes and what you are here to contribute to the world. Often we can get caught up in the expectations of others or the pressures of society, which leads us to chase after goals or desires that are not in line with our deepest calling. Whether it's through our careers, relationships, or personal ambitions, when we stray from our God-given purpose, we feel disconnected from the divine power that can propel us forward. But when you step into alignment with your purpose, it's as if you are reconnecting with the core of your being, the place where you resonate with the divine and feel truly alive. Number 2, forever kindred spirits. The first step in aligning with your true purpose is a deep and honest self-reflection. What are your passions? What are the talents and gifts that God has placed within you? What are the desires in your heart that bring you joy and fulfillment? These are not random inclinations, but clues to the calling God has on your life. The Bible speaks of God uniquely shaping each of us in the womb, with gifts and a calling meant to bring glory to Him and to serve others. When you begin to recognize those gifts and talents as part of God's greater plan, you start to step into your purpose with a renewed sense of direction and excitement. However, it's important to recognize that alignment with your purpose is not always easy. Nor does it always come with immediate clarity. It requires faith, trust, and a willingness to step out of your comfort zone. You may encounter challenges, doubts, or distractions along the way, but know that God has already equipped you for the journey. The more you trust in His guidance and remain open to His leading, the clearer your purpose becomes. It's through action and obedience that you begin to walk confidently in the purpose He has set before you. Furthermore, living in alignment with your true purpose allows you to operate in a state of flow, where things just seem to work out. The obstacles you face no longer feel as insurmountable because you know that God is with you every step of the way, empowering you to push through. When you're walking in your purpose, you experience a sense of peace and fulfillment because you are in sync with the divine rhythm of your life. This is where you are supposed to be. This is where the needle of your divine rhythm should be. One of the most beautiful aspects of aligning with your true purpose is the way it impacts those around you. When you live authentically, driven by God's calling, your life becomes a testimony to others. Your actions, words, and presence become a reflection of His glory. People around you will notice the peace and joy you exude, and you may find yourself inspiring and empowering others to step into their own purpose as well. You become a vessel for God's love. Alignment with your purpose also brings clarity in decision-making. You begin to make choices that reflect your values, and you gain the wisdom to discern what is in line with your divine calling and what isn't. God's guidance becomes clearer, and you are no longer wasting energy on things that distract you from your true mission. You'll find that the more you align with your purpose, the more divine opportunities present themselves to you, and the doors that once seemed closed begin to open. In essence, aligning with your true purpose is not just about figuring out what you are meant to do in life, but about living in harmony with God's will. This alignment allows you to experience God's power in every area of your life because you are actively walking in the path He has designed for you. When you are aligned with your purpose, you are a conduit for God's energy and grace to flow through you, not only transforming your own life, but also making a profound impact on the lives of those around you. One of the most powerful steps in unlocking God's power in your life is to release limiting beliefs and negative emotions. These are the invisible barriers that hold us back from experiencing the fullness of what God has planned for us. Often these beliefs and emotions are deeply ingrained in our psyche, formed through past experiences, disappointments, or fears that shape how we view ourselves and the world around us. But in order to step into the transformative power of God, we must recognize and release these limiting beliefs, allowing space for His divine truth to take root in our hearts and minds. And I've seen limiting beliefs are often rooted in fear and self-doubt. Many people struggle with the belief that they are unworthy of God's love and blessings, or that they are incapable of achieving the dreams and desires He has placed in their hearts. These beliefs can be the result of past failures, criticisms from others, or even negative messages that we internalized as children. When you carry these beliefs, you carry an unseen weight that prevents you from moving forward in life. You may find yourself stuck in patterns of self-sabotage, procrastination, or fear of success, all of which are manifestations of the limiting beliefs that have taken hold of your mind and spirit. The third and final step, releasing these limiting beliefs, requires a profound shift in thinking. It means recognizing that these beliefs are not based on truth, but on lies that have been formed by negative experiences and perspectives. To release them, you must begin to replace them with the truth of who you are in God's eyes. The Bible tells us that we are fearfully and wonderfully made, created with purpose and divine potential. You are not defined by your past mistakes, failures, or shortcomings. You are defined by God's love for you and by the power He has already placed within you to overcome any obstacle. In this way, living in accordance with His will for you is a life of stability and peace. Once you understand that these limiting beliefs are not your identity, the next step is to consciously choose to let them go. This can be a deeply emotional process, as these beliefs have been with you for so long that they feel like part of who you are. But it is essential to understand that in Christ you are a new creation. The old is gone and the new has come. Through prayer, meditation, and reflection, you can begin to break the chains that these negative beliefs have placed on you. It removes the barriers that can stand between you and the life that you wish to live. And perhaps more importantly than all that, this might mean forgiving yourself for past mistakes, letting go of regret, or even releasing anger and resentment toward others who may have hurt you. When you let go of these toxic emotions, you create space for God's healing power to flow through you. Forgiveness plays a crucial role in releasing negative emotions. Many times we hold on to anger, resentment, or bitterness because we feel justified in our hurt. However, holding on to these emotions only serves to imprison us and prevent us from stepping into the fullness of God's blessings. Forgiveness doesn't mean that what happened to you was okay, but it means that you are choosing to release the hold those emotions have over your life. It means trusting that God is the ultimate judge, and that His justice and grace are more than sufficient to handle the wrongs that have been done to you. When you forgive, you free yourself from the emotional burden that holds you back from fully experiencing God's presence and power in your life. Letting go of limiting beliefs and negative emotions also involves trusting in God's ability to heal and restore. Many of us hold on to old wounds, believing that we must carry them forever. Yet, God's healing power is able to restore us completely, spiritually, mentally, and emotionally. When you allow God to heal you from the inside out, you open yourself up to a life filled with peace, joy, and confidence. After all, we come into being with a newness, courtesy of God's promise. Moreover, in Acts 26:14, His love has the power to remove the pain of the past and replace it with a deep sense of wholeness. As you release these limitations, you begin to experience a renewed sense of freedom and possibility. You no longer feel trapped by past failures or the expectations of others. Instead, you walk forward with a sense of purpose, knowing that you are worthy of God's love and that His power is at work in your life. Releasing limiting beliefs and negative emotions frees you to step into your true potential and to live the life that God has called you to live. With every belief and emotion you let go of, you create more space for God's power to move in and through you, bringing healing, restoration, and transformation to every area of your life. In essence, releasing limiting beliefs and negative emotions is an essential part of unlocking God's power. When you free yourself from the emotional and mental barriers that hold you back, you allow God's light to shine brightly within you. You become a vessel for His grace, and His power flows more freely in your life, empowering you to overcome challenges, fulfill your purpose, and live a life of abundance. By letting go, you make room for God to work miracles in ways you never thought possible. It goes like this. Thank you, sir. One of the most essential steps to unlocking God's power in your life is the consistent cultivation of a deep spiritual practice. Developing a regular and intentional spiritual practice is not just about going through the motions of prayer, meditation, or reading sacred texts, but about building a profound connection with God, allowing His presence to permeate your daily life. When you actively cultivate a relationship with God, you invite His divine power to move through you, to guide you, and to transform your circumstances. Without this connection, we can feel disconnected from the source of all power, strength, and peace. Deep spiritual practice is built on intentionality and consistency. It's not a one-time event, but a continuous commitment to seeking God, spending time in His presence, and aligning your heart and mind with His will. Prayer is one of the most powerful ways to nurture this connection. It's not just about asking God for things, but about engaging in intimate communication with Him. Expressing gratitude, seeking guidance, pouring out your heart, and listening for His voice. Through prayer, you create space for God to speak to you, to direct your steps, and to reassure you of His love and presence in your life. Prayer is a tool for both connection and transformation. And when it becomes a regular part of your day, it opens the door for God's power to flow more freely in your life. Similarly, reading and meditating on sacred texts like the Bible can deepen your understanding of God's nature, His promises, and His instructions for living a fulfilling, purposeful life. The Bible is full of stories of God's faithfulness and power, and by immersing yourself in it, you gain insight into how God works in the lives of His people. It also strengthens your faith and renews your mind. As you reflect on God's Word, it becomes more than just information. It becomes a spiritual tool that shapes your thoughts, your beliefs, and your actions. The Scriptures are living and active, and when you allow them to take root in your heart, they transform the way you think and live, aligning you more closely with God's will. Another crucial aspect of cultivating a deep spiritual practice is creating moments of stillness and quiet reflection. In a busy world full of distractions, it can be easy to lose sight of God's presence. Yet God often speaks in the quietest moments, when we make time to listen. These moments of stillness, whether through meditation, reflection, or simply sitting in silence, allow you to connect with God on a deeper level. In these quiet spaces, you may receive clarity, peace, and insight that would be impossible to hear amidst the noise of daily life. These moments are when God's power can fill your spirit and bring transformation in ways that are often beyond comprehension. It's in these moments of deep reflection that you begin to align your heart and soul with the divine flow, allowing God's power to move freely in your life. Furthermore, engaging in acts of worship is an integral part of nurturing your spiritual practice. Worship is an act of surrendering to God, acknowledging His greatness, and opening yourself to His presence. Through worship, whether it's through music, serving others, or simply expressing gratitude for what He has done, you invite God's power into your life. Worship shifts your focus from your own limitations to God's infinite greatness, and it aligns your heart with His. When you worship, you allow His Spirit to move in ways that transcend the natural, empowering you to face challenges with grace, confidence, and peace. It is through worship that you surrender your will to God's. And in this surrender, His divine power is able to work in you and through you in ways you never imagined. Lastly, a deep spiritual practice involves not only individual time with God, but also being part of a community of believers. Fellowship with others who share your faith can be a powerful source of strength and encouragement. When you gather together to pray, worship, and support one another, you become a collective force for God's power to manifest. There is a unique synergy in community. Where two or more are gathered in His name, God promises to be present. In community, you can learn from others, share experiences of God's faithfulness, and support one another through life's challenges. This sense of unity and shared faith magnifies God's power, allowing you to experience His presence in profound and communal ways. By cultivating a deep spiritual practice, you open the door for God's power to move in every area of your life. Prayer, meditation on Scripture, quiet reflection, worship, and fellowship all create a channel through which God's power can flow. As you continue to nurture this connection, you begin to live more fully in alignment with His will, experiencing His guidance, peace, and strength in all that you do. I find that there is a richness in the blessings carved out for me through all that you do. The more you draw close to God, the more His transformative power will fill your life, and the more you will see the manifestation of His miracles and blessings. In a world filled with noise and distractions, cultivating a deep spiritual practice is the key to unlocking the limitless power of God.